Hey everyone, it's Saturday night. Good time to play some Arkham Horror LCG. Gonna just wait a few minutes while people show up for the game. Let me know if everything sounds okay. I know you can't see me yet because I haven't turned on the screen, but let me know if you can hear me all right. We are going to play some Edge of the Earth tonight. I have not played Edge of the Earth. In fact, I just read the introduction about half an hour ago, so I would know exactly what I am doing once I get this thing set up. So I am looking forward to finally digging into this campaign to see what it has to offer. And yeah, so I read the introduction. I made a couple decisions about stuff that's going to happen here with the old expedition. Met all the expedition members, whom I will probably end up killing all of them along the way, and we'll see what happens. Hi, Calvin. Hi, Daniel. Welcome to the stream. Glad you could make it. Calvin, you haven't played Arkham in months. You become obsessed with Frosthaven. Yeah, I have avoided Gloomhaven, Frosthaven. I am awaiting my copy of Voidfall later this year, which I am looking forward to getting my hands on the physical copy. I've been playing it a lot on Tabletop Simulator, and really enjoying it. So it'll be nice to have the physical copy when it arrives. I just got a message, actually, I think it was yesterday, that they have updated the Voidfall TTS module to its final version. So looking forward to giving that a run, because they had fixed a couple bugs. Hi, Angela. Welcome to the stream. Glad you could make it tonight. I had a pretty good week this week. Video for Matastrophic and I's reviews of the Secret customizable cards just went up tonight actually. I just managed to finish editing it this evening and threw it up there. And I think Matastrophic and I are planning to record our last review tomorrow. I think we're doing the Mystic, Survivor, and Neutral customizables, and that will wrap up our look at the Scarlet Keys. And then I think we're planning on diving into the Path to Carcosa re-release, followed by the Forgotten Age re-release, and who knows, maybe we'll find some other goodies to talk about here as we wait for the next campaign to be announced. We haven't, or at least I haven't heard about any of the new stuff that is going to be coming out. I saw that Fortune and Folly was just released, the new standalone set in the casino, which I actually had a chance to play with Nathan Early and Vase from the Twisted Tentacle Inn way back in October, and we played the first half. And I think we managed to do okay. I'm not sure if we started the second half or not before we ran out of time. But so I am looking forward to picking that up once it arrives at my friendly local game store. And yeah, so I spent part of the week in Montreal. Went to see one of my favorite bands on their final tour, and then came back, had some fantastic poutine and some Montreal smoked meat sandwiches, which were always nice. You can't really get them out in my part of the plateau, so it was nice to indulge and of course get back to work. And so here we are, streaming tonight. So we are going to start The Edge of the Earth, as I mentioned, I have not played Edge of the Earth yet. That may come as a surprise, but life got in the way, and I just hadn't had a chance to get this campaign to the table, so we are going to do that tonight. There was a vote a long time ago on the channel, and everyone voted for me to play Monterey Jack through this campaign, so that is what we are going to do. I have already read the intro to the Edge of the Earth campaign up to the choice of, well, first of all, we had to choose whether we were going to convince, Dyer, the leader of the previous expedition, whether we believed him or not. Personally, I think Monterey Jack would definitely believe him, because he has seen some shit in his days as an archaeologist, so I think he would have absolutely no problem believing Dyer's tale. So we're going to have to add a cultist tablet to the bag. Then we ended up meeting all of the expedition members. There are 9 of them in total. I read the little introduction part, a lot of them sort of ran all together. A couple of them stood out: the airplane mechanic, the dog handler, and the doctor were 3 that stood out to me, of course, as well as the leader of this whole expedition. A couple of the others, just I'm not too sure who they are, what they're going to be doing. Then we get in a plane, or we land on the island first, or we land in Antarctica first, and then we go on our first plane ride. I did like the little call out to Winifred Habermock as being one of the investigators in the that gets a little bit of a personalized intro if you happen to be playing Winifred. And of course, the plane crashes, and now we have to choose somebody to die right off the bat. And so we're not even going to get to pick one of them, because they're just going to die in the plane crash. And then we have a little bit of text to read, and then we can jump into the game. The deck I'm going to play is the one that was built by start with the name, the Monterey Jack deck that uses Ariadne's Twine and Aeon Chart, largely because it was very simple to downgrade the deck to a level 0 deck. I was playing around. I was looking for a Monterey Jack deck to play. He was one of the investigators that I was really looking forward to playing before he was released, and then the mixture of all the overpowered seeker cards that he ended up with sort of diminished my enthusiasm for him somewhat. So I never actually played Monterey, and I will definitely post the deck list on ArkhamDB. I just noticed that this deck has You Handle This One in it, so I'm going to have to get rid of that card for another card, because we are not playing multiplayer. Solo all the way, so we'll get rid of that. And what do we pick instead? Well, let's see what we have in terms of events that we might want to include. It is an Underworld support deck, so we can only play one card, so we have to choose wisely here. Maybe Ethereal Slip. I understand the maps in this one are pretty large, so that might be worthwhile, although that's a customizable card. Friends in Low Places is customizable, then I'd have to read all about the customizable stuff, so that would be very very difficult or time consuming to do. And let's see, let's go for... there's quite a few good ones here. Let's throw a copy of Swift Reflexes in there. That'll give us an extra action if necessary. And we'll save that up and we will post the deck. So here's the deck that I am planning on playing. I'm sure everybody has probably played this deck at some point by now. I think I don't know how many different Monterey Jack builds there are, but I feel like he was one of those investigators who was solved pretty quickly. There were sort of a couple builds, and most people play those ones. I was really looking for something that sort of didn't play with cards like Aeon Chart and whatnot, but alas, that would have probably taken me weeks to sit down and figure out what exactly I wanted to build, and so we're just going with a pre-built deck. Daniel says he's seen some interesting builds that fight with him. Well, that I will definitely have to check to see those decks. I tend to play more evasion when I'm playing solo, so Monterey fits nicely with that game plan. I find that fighting usually takes up too much time. Of course, you can't go full-on evasion. You do have to be able to kill things from time to time, or you're just going to get overrun by hunter enemies most of the time. But let's get this started. Let's get our deck out here and see what we can do. Which band did I go see? I went to see Skinny Puppy. They are a Canadian band that have been around since the 80s. They broke up, got back together. Oh, they broke up mid-90s, got back together early 2000s, and after, I don't know, what would it be, since 85, 95, 2005, almost 30 years, they decided to call it quits and go their separate ways. And yeah, there aren't many bands like them, that's for sure. And I actually managed to score myself a VIP pass, so I got to meet the band and go to their sound check, and they were kind enough to play a couple of songs for us. I think there were about 30 of us there all together, and they played a couple songs, got to meet the band, get photos taken with them, and then we got in early when the doors opened, so we were allowed to I managed to stake out right at the front, right up against the barricade, and so I had a first-hand look, or a first-hand view of everything that goes on. Skinny Puppy are well known for their stage show being as important as their music, and this concert started off with a mixture of Japanese no theater and Asian shadow puppetry, and then it eventually ended with an alien being force-fed its own brain, which had been extracted after various bouts of torture and caning. So a typical Skinny Puppy show all around. The crowd in Montreal was very, very enthusiastic. It was their first Canadian date on the tour, so they were everybody was in a very good mood, and it was a great show overall. So Monterey Jack, I have to actually set up the game. Let's go find our Ice and Death is the first scenario that we're going to play. So let's see if we can get all this set up. Again, I'm using Tabletop Simulator. I'm a little rusty with it. Oh dear. We've got Ice and Death Part 1, Ice and Death Part 2, Ice and Death Part 3. So we're going to place Part 1. So we start at the crash site, which is right here, right in the middle. Okay, so let's, we'll make that camera 2. We'll flip that over. All right, so the crash site, 2 shroud location, 0 clues. Action, test intellect or agility 3 to scavenge from the wreckage. If you succeed in the supplies recovered section of the campaign log, record spare parts. And it has the shelter 0 trait. Not sure what that means. I'm sure I will figure it out. All right, what's going on here? Everything's kind of hanging up above the board for some reason. Maybe that is a TTS thing. All right, so we've also got the frozen shores, the precarious ice sheet, and the treacherous path. All right. So we'll go back here. Now, I did not choose a weakness for this deck. So let's do that now. Let's get ourselves a random weakness, shall we? All weaknesses, random basic weakness. Pay your due. Rogue Investigator only. Well, there we go. We got the Rogue Investigator only basic weakness. As an additional cost to play Pay Your Due, you may spend any number of additional actions, reduce its cost by 5 for each additional action spent. If Pay Your Due is in your hand at the end of your turn, reveal it and take a damage. And it costs 10 resources. So if we spend 2 actions, we can play it for free. That's pretty typical of most weaknesses. Hello, Cartoon. Welcome to the stream. Glad you could make it. We are playing, we're starting a blind playthrough of Edge of the Earth. I have not played Edge of the Earth yet. So that's what we're going to do. So Pay Your Due seems like it's spend 2 actions, get rid of it, or you can pay a ton of resources, but probably easier just to grab the, or just to spend the 2 actions, much like every other basic weakness, or many of the weaknesses in the game have that cost. I have posted the deck list in the chat. Take a look at it. It is using in the thick of it. I believe that the 3 cards that it grabs are the tarot card, Death, a pair of hiking boots, and Forewarned. It's also an Underworld support deck, so we only have 1 of each card in our deck, and we reduce our deck size by 5. Spend 3 actions to make... Oh, right. Okay, yeah, because you'd have to pay the action. You'd have to spend the action to play it, and then 2 yeah, so 3 actions. So it's a little more severe than your typical sort of 2 action tax on a basic weakness. Now we have to do some other things here before we get started. So I assume TTS has set aside all the stuff we need to set aside. We need to go and kill one of our people. So let's go do that now. Where are the people? People are over here, the expedition team. All right, so let's see. Any guesses on who's going to bite it? Who would I kill? Who do I hope would die? I kind of liked the mechanic and the dog handler. Kind of iffy about the whole expedition leader. She seems to be heading headlong into trouble. I think from what I read, they plan to try to capture an elder thing. That seems really unwise. So that seems better if she was just to bite it right off the bat. So let's see. Shuffle it up one more time, and it's going to be... Oh no! The airplane mechanic is dead. Takata Hiroko. We hardly even knew her. She's dead. She died in her own plane crash. How fitting. So, she had a ton of resources she could have given us. But she's dead. Well, I hope your wife, Kart-kun, has a long and healthy life. Unfortunately, Takata here, she arrived in Antarctica, built the planes, and then ended up dying in a plane crash. So now I think we get to choose one if we want. Let's see what they say about Takata dying here. Okay, if Takata Hiroko was killed, like some kind of cruel, morbid joke, Takata lies contorted and dead in a contraption of her own making. The team is silent for some time as the realization sets in. Alaya looks the sky in confusion. Looks at the sky in confusion? What the hell was that thing, that shadow? It was like nothing I have ever seen. Danforth responds with a quiet mutter, only barely audible over the howling wind. The wings, the eyes in the darkness, a windowless solid with 5 dimensions. He looks up when he realizes the rest of the team is staring blankly at him. Why did we bring Danforth along on this trip? Like, the guy is, like, already basically insane. But we brought him along for some reason. Like, he's just going to kill everyone, I think. We have no time to mourn, says Dr. Kensler. Or Dr. Kensler to Kaiser. It will be nightfall soon enough. So she literally throws Takata under the airplane and is like, oh well, our aircraft mechanic is dead. Too bad. Elias shakes his head in protest. Come on, Kensler, Takata is dead. Give us a half second, would you? No, she is right, Professor Dyer chimes in. If we do not want to end up like her, we have to move on. Wow, these people are ruthless. Kensler's like, screw her, she died, and Dyer's like, right, I agree with you. Wow. I don't like any of these people so far. They're really unlikable. All right, well, Takata, we will try to avenge your death by beating this scenario. So based on their reactions, so each investigator may choose one of the available members of the expedition team to join them. Do I want any of these people with me? Really, I mean, they're just, like, Danforth is borderline crazy at this point, and Kensler and Dyer are just like, too bad, so sad, somebody's dead. So, I don't know. Let's take a look at them anyway. No, obviously not. The Igotha, they're so the dog handler, he's not all that useful for us. He's giving us a skill of 5 in agility, so I did kind of like the dog handler, but he's not doing anything. I'm not taking Danforth with me. Let's see, Cookie gives us fight with 5. He has ammo and can shoot stuff. He's got a lot of health. Not much sanity. Of course, if they take damage and stuff like that, it looks like it carries over. Claypool. I can see why he is very important, because he cancels frost tokens. And I understand if you draw 2 frost tokens in a row, you auto-fail. So he's pretty important. Let's see, the doctor, she heals 2 damage from allies or investigators. Okay. Ellsworth. He blanks treacheries at locations. Okay. Dyer, he heals 2 horror. So he's kind of like the doctor except for horror. And then the leader of this whole shebang, she investigates with a base skill of 5. Okay, so I don't really need her either. All right, well, let's see. Whoops, didn't want to do that. Let's go back here. All right, so do we take any of these people? I don't think we need Amy. What is... we have 8 health and 6 sanity. So we've got lots of health. So we probably don't need the doctor. So let's put the doctor aside. Let's leave Claypool out. Cookie has a lot of health, but no sanity. 1 sanity. That's like just asking to get dinged and die almost immediately. Danforth, I didn't actually read what he did. He gets rid of the, or no, after investigator location resolves a Tekeli Lee weakness. He draws 2 cards. Yeah. Well, I don't think I'm going to take any of them. That might be a mistake, but these people, I mean, based on their reaction to Takata's death, I think they would be like, Monterey Jack would be just like, they would bury him in a snowdrift somewhere and leave him to die almost immediately, I think. So we're going to leave the research party behind to think about what they have done, maybe learn how to grieve a little bit. That might be good for them. So let's check the chaos bag, because we need a cultist. So we're going to play on standard. Let's take a look. So we need an extra cultist in there. So let's do this. We'll clone the cultist. All right, we've got a frost token in there. I think everything else looks right. Yeah, don't say anything. This is a blind playthrough. I'm just gonna do what I'm gonna do. So I'm sure you guys are like, oh my god, he didn't take anybody, he's gonna die immediately, but so be it. I think after the reaction to Takata's death, Monterey and Takata seemed to have like a little thing going when they met at the ship. Takata seemed to know Monterey and was very friendly to him, so I think Monterey would be pretty upset. He might just want to go off by himself and do his own thing for a while. All right, so we did the thing. We killed our poor airplane pilot. We're not playing on hard or expert. There's a Tekeli Lee deck somewhere. Let's go see where that is. Let's see. Let's look. Uncharted creatures. So where would the Tekeli Lee deck be in this? Oh, it must be. Oh, there it is up here. Okay. Found it. All right. Well, I think we're ready to draw our opening hand. So let's do that. And we'll see how we... I actually haven't played Monterey Jack either. I should have probably played a preview game to... All right, so we've got Sneak By, which gives us resources if we evade. We've got our weakness, so we're going to get rid of that immediately. We get our other weakness, so we'll get rid of pay your due immediately. We got Lone Wolf. Well, that's definitely a keeper. We've got the Bullwhip. That's pretty good. So I think we'll keep the Bullwhip. Breaking and entering is pretty good. Although we've already got a 4. It's really good at high shroud locations. I don't think we need sneak by right away because there's nobody out there. And I think we're going to leave backstab too. Do we need breaking and entering right away? No, we want to try to get the Death Tarot card, I think. We want to boost his intellect up high. So we're going to get 3 cards. We get a manual dexterity, a leather jacket, and a field work. Wow. Well, that's pretty it's pretty underwhelming. Not exactly what I was hoping for, but this is a Underworld support deck, so chances are I will be drawing something I need sooner than later. So fieldwork, after I move, I can investigate. So that's pretty good to have out right away. Lone Wolf, obviously. The leather jacket, we'll get that out sometime. What else do I have to do? I think we're good. All right, so let's go back up here and take a look at our situation. So we can scavenge from the crash site, which we probably want to do, getting some spare parts because, I mean, we've lost our airplane mechanic, so having some spare parts probably is a good plan. So we'll grab those at some point. So I think for our first action, we're going to play Lone Wolf, of course, because Lone Wolf is awesome. So we'll do that. Let's play, probably better to be safe than sorry and play the Bullwhip now. So we have some defense in case we get jumped. And then maybe let's grab the spare parts while we're at it. Let's go up here. So we're going to test intellect or agility 3. So we've got an agility of 5, so we'll go 5v3, and the chaos token is a 0. So we remember that we have the spare parts. Oh, the Bullwhip is fast. Wow. Yeah, okay, we'll save the Bullwhip. We'll play the fieldwork instead. We can get the Bullwhip out later. We've got the resources for it. Okay, so we did played fieldwork. We grabbed the spare parts, and that is our turn. No enemies to worry about, so let's go to upkeep. We draw Money Talks, so we have a way of, if we have lots of cash, we have a way of passing a skill test. Let's go out of Doom. Oh, I didn't actually read these. That's the other thing I should do. Okay, so Agenda 1A, Cold Welcome. This isn't exactly how you imagined your first foray into the Arctic wilds. The stinging cold and lashing frozen winds will only get worse over time. After a location is entered by an investigator for the first time, put into play each set-aside location connected to that location. Use the map in the campaign guide for reference. Oh, geez. Okay. So we need... Good thing I have this out. So there's a lot of... Let's see. Okay, so we've got the icy wastes. Whew. Okay. Yeah, it's like you definitely need this map to figure out what locations go where. All right, so we've got 1 of 4 Doom. Let's see what agenda our Act 1A is. Search for a campsite. You're going to have to find a way back to the camp, and soon. or you'll have to make do camping in the wilds. If each investigator is at the same location and that location has no clues on it, resign, you set up camp, each investigator resigns. Okay, so we can just basically resign at any time as long as the location has no clues. Objective, find somewhere safe to set up camp. If each undefeated investigator has resigned, advance. The higher the shelter value on the location they resigned at, the better. Okay, so the shelter values, we now know what that means. So the crash site has a shelter value of 0, which is rotten. And we will go from there. Okay. So we added a doom. It is the first mythos phase. Let me go shuffle the encounter deck just to make sure. Our first encounter card is Through the Ice. Attached to the nearest location without a copy of Through the Ice attached. As an additional cost for you to enter or leave attached location, except by a scenario card effect. Test 2 agility. If you fail, cancel the effect of the move, take 1 damage and 1 horror, and discard Through the Ice. Okay, so it's basically like an arcane barrier. So maybe the airplane crashed through the ice, and that's where we're at. Okay, so no. So if we leave, we need to pass an agility 2 skill check, which is pretty good for Monterey. So Monterey's ability gives us cards and resources the further we are from the place we want to be. Let's remember we have Lone Wolf. I'm bound to forget that. We'll see how often I forget it this game. I always forget it more often than not. After you move to a location, if that location has 1 clue on it, can exhaust field work, you get +2. Okay, so we're gonna start moving around here. So let's go clockwise. Let's go to the Frozen Shores. Or we'll try to go to the Frozen Shores because we have to pass an agility 2 skill check. I'm going 5v2. I like those odds. Tablet. What does a tablet do? Tablet's a -3. For each point you fail by, discard the top card of your deck. Draw each weakness. Okay, so we're 5v2, so we succeeded. So we moved to the Frozen Shore. All right. Frozen Shore is a 2-shroud location with 1 clue. Frozen Shore gets +2 shroud if an encounter card is attached to it. So there's no encounter card, so it's still 2. There is 1 clue per investigator. Oh, I forgot to change the thing. Forgot to change the number of players. That's why there are 2 clues. There's 1 clue there. We can exhaust our field work to get +2 on the skill test here. But that seems like overkill if we're going... yeah, maybe. We're going 4v2. I like 4v2. Sure. Oh, it wouldn't have mattered. Auto fail. First auto fail of the campaign on our 3rd skill check of the day. Okay, so we moved, we investigated, and I think we'll just investigate again. Moved, investigated, investigate again, 4v2. We get a -3, so... Chaos Bags playing mean so far this game. Now, Monterey's ability, at the end of your turn, if you started this round 1 location away from your current location, yes, we either draw a card or gain a resource. Okay, well, we've got Lone Wolf. Oh, right, the connecting locations. Right. Okay, let me check the map. Looks like the broad snowdrifts go there. Okay, let's go find those broad snowdrifts. All right. Where is this thing? Okay. Uncharted locations. Future parts. Where did they hide the... There's definitely enemies, but where did they hide the locations on this thing? All right. Let's go look. Anybody know where they hid the connecting locations on this map? Or in this app? Wouldn't be down here. They're all in the arch. Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. All right. So let's pull those out. Okay. So broad snowdrifts. Hey, that's the one we wanted. So we'll put that down here. So let's read this. As an additional cost for you to enter this location, investigators at your location must spend 1 clue per investigator as a group. Fair enough. So we need to spend a clue to go visit the broad snowdrifts, which is apparently connected to the snow graves, the remnants of Lakes Camp, and the crystalline caverns. Yeah, that's kind of spoilery to you let everybody know where all the stuff is, but that's fine. Okay, so we moved, we tried to investigate and failed. At the end of our turn, we get a card or a resource. Do we want a card? Let's take a card. Oh, we get our weakness. Okay, so what does this thing do? Buried secrets goes to my threat area. If your location can be investigated, you cannot move. If you succeed, instead of discovering clues, discard burying secrets. If you fail, you may take 2 horror to shuffle it into your deck. Okay, well, we'll deal with that next turn. And so we did all that. There are no enemies in play. We will go to upkeep. We get the pocket telescope. We can play the pocket telescope and exhaust it to look at the revealed side of a connecting unrevealed location. That's probably pretty good in this particular scenario with so many different locations, and it's free. So let's go out of Doom. So we added Doom. It's strange adding Doom one at a time after you've been playing Amina religiously for a while. Okay, so we just draw an encounter card, which is going to be the Dark Aurora. Test 3 willpower for each frost token revealed during this test. Take 1 horror. If you fail, take 2 horror. So it looks like we're probably taking 2 horror. We're just going to test 3. We have 1. Yeah, that's just, we're going to fail that. Doesn't look like we have any. Well, we could. Let's see. Money talks is half. I think your base skill is half rounded down. Half will be 2. Yeah. Probably fail either way. So let's just draw a token. Yep, we would have failed. So we're going to take 2 horror, I believe. Yes, indeed. All right. It is our turn again. So we have our weakness to deal with. We're going to gain a resource from Lone Wolf. We can't move because we have buried secrets. So we have to investigate basically twice to grab that clue. So let's investigate. We're going 4v2. Another -3. Is this bag just full of -3s? So if you fail, you may take 2 horror to shuffle it into your deck. I'm not going to do that. Let's try again. Skull. What is a skull in this one? Half the shelter value rounded up. Shelter value is 2, so that's a 1. So we pass. So we'll discard Buried Secrets. And then we'll try to grab that clue. The Cultist. We're seeing every token in the bag here. -2. If you fail, shuffle top card of the Tekeli Lee deck ins. All right. But we passed, so we get this clue. A lot of work for 1 clue. And that's going to be our turn. We did not move, so Jack's ability doesn't kick in. We will go to upkeep. We draw our magnifying glass. That is something we definitely want. We will go at a doom, 3 of 4 doom. And we'll draw an encounter card, which is Polar Vortex. Attached to your location. When you end your turn at attached location, each card you control with health takes a direct damage, including your investigator. At the end of the round, discard Polar Vortex. So the Vortex goes in the Frozen Shores. Now, this thing gets +2 Shroud if there's an encounter card attached to it. So that doesn't really matter. We're not going to be at this location. So the Polar Vortex isn't going to do anything to us. Now, we do want to go to the Broad Snowdrifts, though. So we have to spend a clue, first off. Okay. So we move down to the Snowdrifts. 1 Shroud location, 2 clues. When you successfully investigate Broad Snowdrifts, add 1 Frost token to the Chaos bag. Discover 3 additional clues. Oh, okay. So if we want to, we can add Frost tokens to discover additional clues. Shelter 4. That's pretty good. I don't know what the highest shelter value is here, but let's see. Okay, so we need 2 clues, but we do have to go put some locations into play. So what's connected to this one? We have the Snow Graves, the Crystalline Caverns, and the Remnants of Lakes Camp. Okay, let's go find these things. Wow, we're running out of space already. So the Snow Graves can go over there. We have to spend 2 clues to go to the Snow Graves. The Icebreaker Place, the Frigid Cave, the Barrier Camp, Remnants of Lakes Camp goes over here, sure. And the Crystalline Caves go over here. So we need 4 clues to go to the Crystalline Caves. Wow, that's a lot. We need 4 clues to go to Lakes Camp. And we need 2 clues to go to the Snow Graves. Okay, well we don't have 4 clues. So going to either the Crystalline Caverns or the Remnants of Lakes Camp is unlikely at the moment. Yeah, that's huge. It is a huge map. But I understand this campaign has a ton of huge maps. So that was our first action. We moved to the Broad Snowdrifts. Now we can exhaust. Did I gain my lone wolf money? That is a good question. I cannot remember. I can exhaust field work, but I don't think I need to because I'm at a 1 shroud location. But I'm probably not going to move again, so I might as well exhaust it. So we'll get +2 to our first skill test. We're going to go 6v1. And we get a -2. So our second action, we grab 1 clue. And third action, we might as well just investigate again. 4v1, that's the shelter value if I remember correctly. Skulls. Come on, you can do it. Yes, half of shelter value. So that is a -2 because we're at a 4, so we're okay. So we grab that clue. So we have 2 clues. We investigated twice. We did all the stuff. There are no enemies in play. We do get to use Monterey's ability because we started at the frozen shores. Do we want a clue or a card? Oh, I could have played my magnifying glass. I'm so lazy. Let's take a card because we're getting resources the other way. We get logical reasoning. That's pretty big. It's pretty important for old Monterey Jack to be able to get rid of things like Frozen in Fear. All right, so we go to upkeep. We get breaking and entering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Full up hand. Nothing else to speak of there. So we are advancing. That's probably bad news. So, okay, so let's flip this over. All right, under the ice. Hold on, come see this, one of the other team members shouts as you trudge ahead through the snow. I left all those people back because they were just terrible people. You turn back and examine what they have found. A second set of tracks in the snow, but smaller, misshapen. Almost impossibly so. What in the hell could have made these tracks? One of your party asks. You stand dumbfounded. Very little wildlife exists out here in the frozen wastes, and these tracks match nothing you've ever seen before. Nothing you can even imagine. You don't have to question what it could take, what could make such tracks for long. A shape emerges from the erupting snow, twisted and deformed like a splotch of ink spilled upon the canvas of reality. It makes a strange, almost familiar cry that is eaten by the howling wind. Lee, lee, lee. Then with terrifying speed it rushes towards you. Spawn a set-aside skittering nonsense at the lead investigator's location. Shuffle the remainder of the set-aside skittering nonsense enemies and the set-aside creatures in the ice encounter set into the encounter deck. Alright, let's go find those things. Here are our skittering things. So we need one of those. The rest of those go in the... let's see, can we rotate this? There we go. So this comes at my location. Probably going to engage me right away, but let's take a look. Skittering Nonsense. 2 fight, 2 health, 4 evade. Hunter. When you defeat Skittering Nonsense, shuffle the top card of the Tekeli Lee deck into your deck without looking at it. If you cannot, Skittering Nonsense attacks you. Okay, so we're going to get a Tekeli Lee card, probably, if we kill this thing. Because it's got, I don't know, we don't want to be chased by this thing forever, so we're probably going to have to kill it. So that is engaged with us. Now, the Creatures of the Ice encounter set is shuffled into the Whoops. Let's get all this back. All right, so we shuffle this up. All right, so we did all the stuff. All right, Creatures of the Ice encounter set, yada, yada, yada. And so we'll reset the Doom. And we're on Agenda 2A, Into the White. Something dwells beneath the ice, something you've never seen or heard of before. Not even William Dyer's horrifying report, something unreal. After a location is entered, put the set-aside locations into play. Use the map. 7 Doom Threshold. Okay, so we've got 1 skittering nonsense with us already. So we have to draw an encounter card, which is going to be the Manifestation of Madness. Hunter. 3 fight, 3 health, 3 evade. Hunter, when Manifestation of Madness attacks you, shuffle the top 2 cards of the Tekeli Lee deck into your deck without looking at them. For each card you cannot shuffle, Manifestations of Madness deals +1 damage and +1 horror for this attack. So we have a whole bunch of Hunter enemies already engaged with us. It's a bit of a problem. So what does our friend Trusty Bullwhip do? Fast, fight. We can attack with a 5. We can exhaust the Bullwhip to either automatically evade or deal +1 damage for the attack. So if we play the Bullwhip, we can use it to attack these dudes. I don't think we want to get bogged down fighting a bunch of enemies, though, but I don't really like having 2 hunters chase me either. This thing would have been gone. Throw that away. Okay, well, do we fight everything? Problem is we have to exhaust the Bullwhip to deal extra damage. So we can probably kill the skittering nonsense. And then evade the other one. This Manifestation of Madness, and then move away. Problem is, Snowgraves is 2 clues, and the others are 4, so we'd probably have to go up to the Treacherous Path or the Precarious Ice Sheet, neither of which sounds particularly inviting. There's a Through the Ice on there. So we're going to need more clues and to get to some of these other locations. Okay, well, let's kill one of these things. So first thing I'm going to do is get my Lone Wolf money. The Trusty Bullwhip is fast, so we're going to do that. We will play our Trusty Bullwhip. Now, we want to probably kill the Skittering Nonsense because it's easy to kill with the Bullwhip. So let's try that. We're going to go 5v2. Man, playing Underworld support decks is so tough because you've always got to be like, you just can't throw cards frivolously at skill checks. 5v2. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Let's see. -1. Okay, so we will exhaust the bullwhip to kill the skittering nonsense. When you defeat the skittering nonsense, we get to shuffle a Tekeli Lee into our deck, which sucks, but I think we were bound to probably get one of those eventually. So we'll just have to deal with it. So shuffle that up. We want to evade the manifestation of madness, so it's a 3. So that was our first. Come on. First action was to get rid of the skittering. Oh, come on. Stop doing that. Second action, we're going to try to evade this dude. 5v3. Let's go 7v3. We get a -1. So this dude is evaded. All right. And third action, we're going to just run for it. As much as I would like to go to the snow graves, we'd have to deal with that madness thing on the way back. So I feel like we're going to go put some distance between ourselves and that thing. So let's move back up to the frozen shore as our third action. At the end of our round, we get to draw a card or gain a resource. We will draw a card. We get nimble. That would have been nice to have when we were evading the madness thing, but that's fine. Need to reorganize my hand here. When I play on Octagon, I have a certain way I like to have my hand, and I should practice that here too. So we've got assets, events, and skills. Okay. We drew a card. End of the turn, enemy phase, nothing happens. We go to upkeep. We draw our hiking boots. That's very nice. We will definitely be playing the hiking boots. And so this guy readies. And so we go add a doom, 1 of 7 doom. And we draw our next encounter. Oh, did I draw a card for the manual dexterity? I don't think I did. We drew nimble off of Jack's ability. We drew hiking me out, so I need to draw a card here. For the manual dex, we get Eureka, which is good. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have to actually discard a card because we would have ended up with too many. So let's discard. Oh man, that's a tough choice. When you've got an Underworld support deck, everything is awesome. Let's get rid of... Yeah, we'll get rid of the nimble. Yeah, we will do that. Okay. So we add a doom and we draw an encounter card, which is Ancient Evils. Easy enough. Yeah, I should have played it. We're going to do that this turn here. All right, so we're going to gain a resource for Lone Wolf. We need to get our hand size down. So we'll play the mag glass to get that out of the way. We could play the leather jacket too if we wanted to. Yeah, let's play the leather jacket too. Just to get things down on the table so we have a little flexibility here. Now, hiking boots. That would be really nice to have. So let's use our first action. We're going to play our boots. So our agility is now 6. Second action, we are going to... So do we go to the treacherous path? That doesn't look like much fun. Or the precarious ice sheet. Let's go to the precarious ice sheet. All right. Precarious ice sheet is a 4-shroud location with 1 clue. When you draw a hazard treachery while at precarious ice sheet, we add a frost token to the chaos bag, cancel that card's effects, and discard it. Shelter 2. We have to go get some goodies, some locations to attach to this thing. Precarious ice sheet is connected to... Where are we going here? It is just connected to the icy wastes, I believe. Okay. Let's go up here, grab our icy wastes. Put that there. Okay. So that was our second action. Whoops. Now, we played our boots. We moved. Okay, so we're going to use field work here to get +2. So we're going to go 4, 5, 6, 7 V4 for a clue. I added Doom twice. That's possible. I'll just reset it. I like to make the game harder on myself sometimes. You know, by drawing extra tentacles, adding extra Doom, stuff like that. Okay, so we're getting +2, so we're going 4, 5, 6, 7 V4. We get a 0, so we get this clue. All right. Now the hiking boots. After the last clue is discovered from your location, exhaust hiking boots to move to a connecting location with at least 1 clue, or to a connecting location, connecting unrevealed location. So we played the hiking boots, moved and investigated, and now we'll move with the hiking boots. We might as well go out to the icy wastes. Hiking boots are pretty good in the icy wastes. We need to spend a clue to do that. We'll flip this one over. 2 shroud location with 2 clues. Treat the modifier of the first frost token revealed during each skill test at icy wastes as a -3 instead of a -1. Shelter 4. Fair enough. Okay, but at least we're not at the precarious ice sheet where we could potentially be adding frost tokens to the bag. That just doesn't seem like a good idea at all. Because I think those are permanent, right? Once you start adding frost tokens to the bag, they just stay in the bag. Okay, we moved, we did all the stuff. End of our turn, we started at the frozen shores, so we are 2 locations away. So according to Monterey's ability, we get to gain a resource and draw a card. We get our forewarned. We can place a clue if necessary to play that, which is good. We go to the enemy phase. Yeah, true. Oh, is it a reaction? Yeah, okay. So we don't have to do it. Yeah, that would be bad if it was if you had to do it. So this manifestation of madness moves up to the frozen. Oh, no. Actually, it has other routes. Let's see. It actually can go here to the remnants of Lakes Camp. So it is going to get us next turn unless we get away from it. So we did the enemy phase. Go to upkeep. We draw our swift reflexes. So we can take an extra action if we want. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards in hand. Oh, right. The new locations. This is... let me see here. Okay, we've got the... We've already put Remnants of Lakes Camp. We need the Barrier Camp and the Icebreaker Landing. Okay, well, I like the sound of Barrier Camp. That sounds pretty good. The Icebreaker, don't know. Maybe it's good. I think that's everything. God, these scenarios have gotten so complicated from good old extracurricular activity where you're I guess it had placing locations, like you had to place the dorm and stuff like that. I would often forget that too, so. Well, I do like the sound of Barrier Camp. We're not finding any VPs, but that's okay. Let's take a look here. We need 2 clues to go to Icebreaker Landing. And we have that. We need 4 clues to go to the Barrier Camp, which we don't have. We have 3 clues, or we have 2 clues. So we're going to need to gain, next turn, gain 2 clues, move to Barrier Camp. Barrier Camp is only connected to 1 location, though. Are we sure we want to pack it in? That, like, it sounds like Barrier Camp is the place we want to go based on all the goodies at the camp. I mean, there's sleds, there's an airplane. Unfortunately, our airplane mechanic is dead. So maybe we'll do some exploring. Maybe do some more exploring. Although you need 4 clues to get there. That's not easy to get. Like, you need to visit a whole bunch of locations to get 4 clues. I am looking forward to playing this with somebody other than Monterey. I mean, this seems ideal for Monterey. Like, I mean, he gets to move around. You've got the hiking boots to, like, zip all over the map and stuff like that. But for a different investigator, this would be tough. Have some of my beverage. Where were we? Okay, we drew swift reflexes during upkeep. So let's go add a doom and draw our encounter card. Our encounter card is going to be Apeirophobia. Test X willpower, where X is your location's shelter value. If you fail... Ooh, this is a bad one for Monterey. So what is our location's shelter value, first of all? Shelter 2. I believe that's where we were. Precarious ice sheet. No, we're up here. Shelter 4. That's much worse. Okay. So we're testing 4 willpower. If you fail, we either take 1 horror for each point we failed by. So we could potentially take for horror. Place 2 clues on your location, which would leave us with no clues, or add a frost token to the bag, which seems bad. So I'm going to cancel this with forewarned. I'm going to place, since I'd probably end up dropping all my clues anyway, I'm going to drop a clue there and cancel that card, because that seems really bad. All right, it is our turn again. Let's gain our lone wolf bucks. So we have some issues. Dropping that clue was painful because we could have grabbed 2 clues and then ran away from the manifestation. Now there are 3. So we would need to grab all 3 clues and then use the hiking boots to move to barrier camp if we want. Or we can maybe grab a clue and then run somewhere else. Maybe the treacherous path. I mean, we got, how many agendas are in this? There's 3. Okay, that's a lot of time. It's a lot of time to play around with. Or we could go check out the icebreaker landing, knowing that we have the barrier camp. I would kind of like to check out the barrier camp, though, just to see what the shelter value is, because we're trying to find the location with the highest shelter value, right? Hey, it's JP. How are you doing, JP? Good morning to you, too. I am playing Edge of the Earth, as you recommended. JP is the, over at Northern Lights Gaming, finally pushed me over the edge and told me to get playing these campaigns I haven't played. So we're playing Edge of the Earth, Ice and Death with Monterey Jack. So we could grab 3 clues, which would give us 4 clues. And then we could use, but that's like passing 3 tests. We're at 5, which is pretty good. So let's see. I need to set a different camera now. Okay, well, let me set this camera. Okay, yeah, let's try to grab all these clues and then we'll decide what we're going to do. Yes, I am playing Monterey because of the vote I took on the channel many months ago. Everyone voted overwhelmingly, I should add, for me to play Monterey. I don't know if he would have been my choice just because of the Seeker card pool, but I'm enjoying him so far. This is the first time I have played him, so we're doing okay. So let's try to grab a couple clues and then see what happens. So we have an intellect of 5. We're going 5v2, which is pretty good. So we'll do 1. That's half the that is half the value, so that's a -2. So we pass. Well, I should have grabbed a clue while I was there. Okay, so we succeed on the first test and grab a clue. Second test, again, 5v2. We get an Elder Sign. All right. I have never used Monterey's Elder Sign. What is it? +1. If you started this round 1 or more locations away, you gain a resource or draw a card. We did not. So it's simply a +1. So we get this other clue. And if we grab one more, I'm kind of curious about the icebreaker. Maybe we can move up there. I don't think it's attached to anything. No, it's not. So let's try the last clue. So let me keep these. So investigate, investigate. Third action, investigate. 5v2. We get a -2. So we grab the third clue because we had to drop one for forewarned to cancel the aerophobia, which would have been really bad for us. Now, we can use our hiking boots to move to a connecting location with a clue or to a connecting unrevealed location. So let's go up to, let's go see what the icebreaker is doing up here. We have to spend 2 clues. Kind of curious about the icebreaker. And we flip that over. All right, there are 2 clues there. Icebreaker landing. 2 shroud location with 2 clues. As an action, parlay test 4 intellect to search the trapped ship for supplies. If you succeed, either remove 1 frost token from the chaos bag or record small radio in the supplies recovered section of the campaign log. So we already got the spare parts. Yeah, JP, just to bring you up to speed, poor Takada, the airplane mechanic, didn't survive the crash of her own plane. I decided to go without any of the people because they were so heartless at her death. They were just like, push her in a snowbank and move on. That seemed pretty harsh, so I'm just going solo here. All right, well, we can pick up a couple clues next turn. Shelter 5, that's pretty good. Shelter, what would the highest shelter value be? We've seen 4, we've seen 5. Probably barrier camp is the highest because it looks the most enticing. So maybe shelter 6. Testing 4 intellect though, that's not super easy. If we want the small radio, seems like getting the small radio would be a good idea. All right, so we did all the stuff. We did end our turn 1 location away, so we can get a card or a resource. We get the death card. That's pretty good. We'll play that. Yeah, I know. Hiroko and Monterey seemed very friendly when I read the introduction. Like, she was the most friendly of the bunch, and Jack mourns her death bitterly. So we get the death card, which we'll probably want to play just to keep boosting our intellect. We have to go to the enemy phase, which is this manifestation of madness, comes all the way up to the icy wastes. I don't want to be attacked by this thing. We'd have to take 2 Tekeli Lee cards, and I don't know what those do, so that seems bad. I don't really have a way of dealing with him, though, other than him attacking me. And I don't really feel like leaving this area that quickly, so maybe we just get attacked once. Kind of curious. I mean, we do have the leather jacket. We've taken 2 horror already, which isn't great. Okay, so enemy phase, we go to upkeep. Oh, there's a Tekeli Lee card. Take a damage. Place it on the bottom of the Tekeli Lee deck. Well, okay, now we know what they do. So they dish out punishment, as one might expect. All right, well, so that was our upkeep. It's out of doom. 4 of 7, so we're getting midway through Agenda 2A. I don't know how much more exploring we're going to be able to do. I mean, the other agenda looked like it had 7 thresholds, so let's draw our encounter card, which is going to be another polar vortex, which means we don't want to stay here. We're going to take a direct damage. Well, we have 8 health. Taking 1 direct damage from the polar vortex doesn't seem terrible. But then we're also going to get attacked by this chump. So I'm not hugely in favor of that, but so we take potentially 2 damage if we stay here. But we kind of need the clues. I do want to avoid, yeah, I kind of figured I want to avoid them. They seem, I mean, they're technically dilemmas. I don't like drawing dilemmas, so the idea of being attacked by the manifestation and then taking two dilemmas in your deck seems awful. So, oh right. Each card you control. Poor, man, oh man, the poor. Does anybody have 1 health up here? Like the polar vortex. Yeah, Dyer just dies outright. Gee whiz. Poor Dyer. And then I'm sure there's 1 that deals 1 horror. So we probably don't want to stay here. So maybe we just grab the radio and leave? There are no victory points here, so besides, I mean, we can get the clues somewhere else and then hustle to the barrier camp when necessary. So let's try to grab the radio. It's 4 though, so we're at 4/4. The death card's going to have to wait. So let's get our bucks first. 4/4. We don't really have anything. We don't really have the skill cards to deal with this, do we? We can go 6/4 with Eureka and the telescope. Yeah, I could see that, Daniel. If you can blank the treacheries, you can hang out a lot longer than... So let's try to grab the radio. We're going to discard the telescope and Eureka to go 4, 5, 6 V4. Is that the best we can do? Yeah, looks like it. So 6v4. Okay. Chaos Bag says -1. So we pass. So we found the spot that we have found the spare parts and the small radio. Since we tested, performing test searches top 3 cards of her deck and draws it. Let's see what the top 3 are. Sneak by might be okay because we're going to evade this dude. We're going to evade 6. Pilfer is expensive but gets us a lot of clues. And of course, quick thinking is awesome. Well, I'm not really hard up for resources, so I don't think sneak by is the choice. Pilfer gets us 3 clues. We need a lot of clues. And quick thinking gives us an extra action. But we have a swift reflexes in our hand. So let's take the clues. We do need a lot of clues. So let's see if that works out in our favor. We have not seen our basic weakness, which is pay your dues, the rogue only basic weakness that was released in the Scarlet Keys. So that was our first action. We went scrounging around and found ourselves a radio. So let's leave this place. We will go to the icy wastes and engage the manifestation. We want to evade the manifestation. Yeah, JP, Lord of the Rings LCG is so punishing. I was playing it with my son, and what were we playing? I think we were playing the second to last campaign, Rovanian, and we just got crushed. Like, man, oh man. We played, I think, we made 2 or 3 different attempts with a variety of different decks and just got absolutely crushed. And I don't think we've played since, so that's not a great sign, but hopefully we'll get back to it. Lord of the Rings LCG is the game I have played the most after this game, so I do really enjoy it. But that game, you tend to, like, you start a game and it can often take you longer to set up the game than it can to actually play it, because if you get the wrong draws at the beginning, you just get absolutely hammered and you can die in a turn or two. So we need to evade the manifestation of madness. We're going 6, we're going 6v3. Or we could fight him. Fighting him doesn't really do anything, though. We only deal +1 damage. We actually need to deal 3 down. Like, maybe next turn we kill him? Maybe? Actually, the location. No, we don't have a clue, so we can't use field work. So we're going 6v3. Chaos Bag says -3, but we do pass. He's just going to come back with us anyway, so I'm just going to leave him here. All right. So he is evaded. And that was our last action. We did start our turn 1 away, so we do get a card or a resource. Let's keep drawing cards. There's our quick thinking. That would have been nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I've played Rudar quite a bit. I've actually beaten that one quite a few times. I think the last time I played that was 3-player with a cousin of mine. And we died. Let's see. Okay, so I can attack. Oh, I see what you're saying, Daniel. So if I had fought him with the bullwhip, I could have evaded him and he would have taken a damage. Right, I see. Okay. All right, well, I will keep that in mind for next time. This is my first time playing Jack, so some of the nuance of him will definitely be lost on me, but that is a good point. You can evade and still deal the damage and then attack again next turn and kill it outright, which would be good. Okay, no enemies other than that dude. We go to upkeep. We draw our lucky cigarette case. And nothing else happens. We'll go up here. We will add a doom. So we're at 5 of 7. We will draw an encounter card. Oh no, now we're getting in trouble. Now we've got 2 enemies. The Glacial Phantasm. 4 fight, 4 health, 2 evade. At the end of the enemy phase, if the Glacial Phantasm is ready, move it once toward the location with the most investigators. So it's got Pseudo Hunter. In player order, each investigator at Glacial Phantasm's location or a connecting location shuffles the top card of the Tekeli Lee deck into their deck without looking at it. Each investigator who cannot takes 1 horror. Okay, well that blows. Okay, so the end of the phase, if he's ready, move it once. Each investigator at its location or connecting location. Okay. Well, the polar vortex disappeared. Yeah, no, that's the bullwhip definitely is. Okay, so we've sort of got ourselves. I feel like Barrier Camp is where we want to be. I mean, just look at the front, look at the art on it. It's so inviting. But we were going to need more clues to do that. We're going to need 2 clues. And we're going to need to get away from these creatures that are chasing us. So maybe we go... Yes. Oh, right. Yeah, I can see... Oh yeah, I always forget that they exhaust after they attack. So if he attacks, then you don't deal with this. But if he doesn't attack, then he moves. Let's gain our lone wolf money first. So we need to deal with these 2 enemies, then move, try to get some more clues, and then get... So the best we can do... We can't go to Lake's Camp. We could go to the Precarious Ice Sheet, then over to the Treacherous Path. So that's what we're going to have to do. Okay, we gained our money. So let's fight this manifestation of madness with the bullwhip. And we're going to try to... we will automatically evade it and deal it a damage, as Daniel suggested. All right, so we're going to go 6v3. I feel like I want to use my quick thinking now to put some distance between us. We'll go 7v3. We're going to commit breaking and entering to go 8v3. Get a -2. 6v3. So he is evaded. We will exhaust the bullwhip to deal a damage to it. It is up here and evaded. And we get an extra action thanks to quick thinking because we succeeded 2 or more. So now we're going to evade the Glacial Phantasm. So technically this is our first action. So we are going 6v2. We get a -2. So the glacial phantasm is evaded. Second action, let's put some distance between us. And third action, we go over to the treacherous path. I'm going to remember this time, Daniel. I'm going to put out the locations first. I'm not going to forget this time. I'm not going to forget. All right, treacherous path is connected to just one location. The Rocky Crags. All right, let's go get the Rocky Crags. There's not many locations left. We've been to just about everything. We need a clue to go there, and then we need 4 clues to go there. So we need 5 clues to get to Barrier Camp, and we only have 2 clues. And there's a 1 clue here. Treacherous Path, 2 Shroud location, 1 clue. After you reveal 1 or more Frost tokens during a skill test at Treacherous Path, take a damage and or horror for each Frost token revealed. Shelter 1. Obviously, trying to take shelter on the Treacherous Path is a bad idea, because it's so damn treacherous, and we move twice. I don't think we could have used our boots. We can't really use field work here. Or can we? After you move to a location... Oh yeah, we can exhaust field. Yeah, no, that won't help. Okay. So we just moved. We did start our turn over here at the Icy Wastes, so we get a clue and, or a clue, that would be sweet. We get a resource and a card. We have a backstab. Between backstab and the bullwhip, we could take care of the glacial phantasm if necessary. We do kind of need clues though, which is annoying at the moment. We're good for resources. Enemy phase, the phantasm isn't ready, so it doesn't do anything to us. We go to upkeep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards. We get watch this, which is we're fine for, we have 13 resources, so we don't need resources. Yeah. We add a doom. We are at 6 of 7 doom. These guys need to ready. I don't know why they didn't ready. Guys, ready up. So next turn, they're going to move 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 3, 1, 2. Okay, so they can either chase us through the precarious ice sheet or they'll head over through Barrier Camp. But we need a total of 5 clues. We're sort of running short on clues. Yeah, no, I see that. It's okay. If you've watched any of my other playthroughs, I tend to forget about hunter enemies, but I feel like TTS keeps me a little more honest about that. So we added a doom Correct. We haven't drawn an encounter card, though. Oh, we get the aerophobia again. That's terrible. But we do have... Let's play... This is Money Talks territory right here. We're going to play Money Talks. We're going to make this a resource skill test. Half our resources is 6v4. Oh, shelter value. 6v1? Yeah, 6v1. Okay, we should be fine. Of course. Shelter value is 1. Didn't matter. It's an auto fail. I'll take a horror. Typical. Typical chaos bag. Crushing the skill test, and it's just like, haha, take a horror. Alright, well that's fine. Feel like we're we're running low on horror, on sanity, so we're gonna need to pick up the pace a little bit. Let's gain a resource with Lone Wolf. First action. Yeah, famous last words, right, JP? We'll be fine. Let's make this camera over here. Camera 2. All right. So we're going to treacherous path. We're going 5v2. Let's gain a clue. Oops. 5v2. Chaos bag says cultist. It's a minus what? -2. So we pass. So we get this clue. So last clue was discovered. We can use the boots to move here. We need to spend a clue. We're not getting a whole lot of clues here. Any locations to put out? There's a frigid cave still. Yep, frigid cave. Frigid cave goes up here. We flip this. 2 clues. When a treachery is attached to rocky crags, it gains surge. That's fine. Okay. So we need those 2 clues. So we need like 3 clues, right? So if we gain these 2 clues here at the rocky crags, then we can sort of loop around, head back to the icebreaker landing, grab clues there, and then head to barrier camp, I think is the play. I don't think we have... We're going to hit Agenda 3 next turn, and I don't want to play much past that, so let's... I have to hurry it up a bit. So that was our first action. Grabbed a clue and moved. So we could grab 2 more clues. Might as well, eh? We can exhaust our field work to get us +2, so we can go 7v3 for the first one. Or we could play... After you move to a location, if that location has at least 1 clue on it, +2. Okay, so let's play Pilfer. Okay, so we're going to use our agility, which is 6. We exhausted field work, so we're going 8v3 for 3 clues. 8v3 for 3 clues, and we get a -2. Okay. So we get these 2 clues. Oh, okay. So I was here, I had 2 clues. I grabbed a clue, spent a clue to move up here, grabbed 2 clues. So we have 4 clues. Okay, so we've got enough clues to go to barrier camp now. And we've got enough actions. No, we don't. We could get enough actions. Okay, so I'm going to go check out barrier camp. I'm going to use my last action to spend 4 clues. I'm curious about whether it has the highest shelter value. Yoink. Shelter 7. So good. Okay. Now I should have saved my pilfer for this place. Okay. Now, the problem is we're going to get jumped by a whole... We're going to have to deal with this one, which I don't like. And this one, which I don't like. Okay, what's the barrier camp? 4 shroud location, 3 clues, parlay, test 4 willpower to convince some of the other explorers here to give you something useful. Oh, I can't get the dynamite? That's too bad. Yeah, the money talks would have been good here, but I didn't want to have to deal with the aerophobia, so... That's what happens when you're playing something blind. You don't know what you should be saving your cards for. Okay, so we used our last action there. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to swift action here to give myself another action to get the hell out of there. So we can deal with the creatures on our terms rather than their terms. Okay, so we gain an extra action with swift reflexes. And that's that. I guess we do have logical. Could we pass a 4? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Need some luck to pass that skill test, but we could theoretically throw our hand to it. All right, so we did all the actions. We go to the enemy phase. Now we have some special things going on here. So this dude moves here. This dude moves here. Now because he was ready, move it once toward the location, and then connecting location shuffles a Tekeli Lee into the deck. So we get a Tekeli Lee card, which is not, considering our deck is so... We only have 7 cards in our deck, and 2 of them are weaknesses. We did the enemy phase. Go to upkeep. Well, so far we're doing okay with Oh, right. Monterey's ability. So I would have... I think I would take resource in this case, because there are now 6 cards in the deck and 2 of them are weaknesses. So we will do that. And we did upkeep. So we're advancing this turn, I believe. Yes, we are. 7 of 7 Doom. It dwells inside. These things, these manifestations, they're not beasts or even alien creatures like those Dyer and Danforth encountered in their last expedition. You're not even sure they are entities at all. They have no shape, consisting of almost protoplasmic substance that seeps back into the ice when harmed or whenever you escape their clutches. Given the persistence of these entities and the inclement, deadly conditions of Antarctica, you know you won't survive the night without finding shelter. Just as you are pondering what your next move should be, the ice beneath you rumbles with a tremendous force, letting out a terrifying groan. An earthquake? One of your party asks over the raucous noise. No, that's impossible, another replies. You share a dreadful glance. Could it be one of those things? Spawn the set-aside Terror of the Stars enemy at the revealed location with the highest shelter value. Yeah, that sucks. Well, actually, we just need to go there and resign, right? That's all we need to do. Oh, no clues on it. Oh, yeah, that's a problem. All right. Highest shelter value with no clues. Well, we've got a bit of an issue now. We have too many clues. We have 3 clues there. And we have a Terror of the Stars hanging out. It's getting kind of busy over here. Let's put him down here. All right, let's see what this guy does. Hunter Massive. Terror of the Stars, Bringer of Ice and Death. Terror of the Stars gets +3 health, so he has 6 health. While Terror of the Stars is ready, investigators cannot resign at its location or discover clues at its location. So we're going to play Ring Around the Rosie. Wow, okay. So Shelter 7 and Shelter 5. I mean, it's not the worst if we have to go back to the icebreaker. But I feel like we're going to have to lead these things away. But how do we do that? Three clues is rough. It's only while the Terror is ready. Okay. All right. Running out of time. The sun hangs low in the sky but never sets. Your party is exhausted from the long, arduous day. Though the sky is never plunged into the dark of night, you know it's only a matter of time before you are forced to make camp. Same text as always. 7 Doom Threshold. Yep, let the chase begin, I think, is what's going to happen. Let's take a step back here. Okay, before I get wound up in strategy and tactics, let's draw an encounter card. It is an Ice Shaft. Test 3 agility for each frost token revealed during this test. Take a damage. If you fail, take 2 damage. We are going 6v3. That is -3. I believe. Double check. Oh, -2. All right, we're fine. Monterey is not going to fall into an ice shaft. Come on. Okay, time to talk tactics and strategy. So we want to resign at the barrier camp. We cannot resign there while this guy, the Terror of the Stars, is ready. But he's easy enough to evade. He's only got 3. We're doing okay. The Glacial Phantasm is a bigger problem. Whoops. The Glacial Phantasm is a bigger problem because if he chases us, then he's going to start adding stuff to our... He's going to start adding to Kelly Lee dilemmas to our deck, which we don't want because there's... But he's easily evaded. The problem is, if we go in there with 3 enemies, the problem is we can't separate the enemies. Because they're all just going to follow us. Okay, I think trying to resign at barrier camp is not going to happen. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. Like, I can't... So if I go to from Rocky Crags to Treacherous Path, I can't go to Precarious Sheet because then they just go the other way. And I can't stay at Treacherous Path because then I take a to Kelly Lee card. So I have to go down to probably Frozen Shore so I don't have to deal with Through the Ice. Then they can hunt over to Rocky Crags. Then I can go... up to Icy Wastes. They are here. And I go... No, I can't go to Icy Wastes. I need to pull them down to Treacherous Path. Which means I could go down to Broad Snowdrift. They go there. Then I shoot up to Icy Wastes. Yeah, we're gonna have to, if we're gonna resign at barrier camp, we're gonna have to play this real slow. Okay, so I did draw, did I draw an encounter card? Yeah, we didn't fall down the ice shaft. Okay, so we're just in strategy time. Okay. So if I go down to Frozen Shores, they will all hunt to Rocky Crag. Next turn, I could go to Precarious Ice Sheet they would hunt down to Treacherous Path. Or I go down to Broad Snowdrift, they hunt down to Treacherous Path. Next turn, I go Frozen Shore, Precarious Ice Sheet, Icy Wastes. They hunt over to Precarious Ice Sheet. Next turn, I go to Barrier Camp, grab 2 clues. They hunt up to Icy Wastes. Then I have a turn to grab a clue and stuff and resign at Barrier Camp. Okay. Okay, we're going to need all the doom. We do have, however, the Icebreaker Landing in our back pocket. If things go kind of awry for us, we can get away. I mean, we also have a Backstab, which, yeah. The doom threshold is 7. We have the time. We have the time to do this elaborate chase scene that we've set up here. So let's give it a shot. We have a plan. We might as well follow through on it. So we'll get our lone wolf bucks. First action, we move to the Treacherous Path. Second action, we move down to Frozen Shore. Yeah, the Backstab is going to be... It's nice that I do have some time to... Like, I have an action. Like, at this point, I'm not overly concerned. Like, it's just my deck is so low that I don't want to start having to draw a ton of cards. Fortunately, Monterey's ability is a reaction, so I can trigger it if I want to, and I'm probably not going to. Okay, is there anything that we can do that is helpful to us? I think we actually use our last action to play the death card to bump our intellect up. That takes care of all that. So that's our turn. Their turn. They all head to the Rocky Crags. Rumors of my existence at the Rocky Crags prove unfounded. Yeah, I need to go down to the Broad Snowdrift next. Okay. So that was the enemy phase. Upkeep, we draw Sneak By, which is 2 agility skill icons because we're not hurting for resources. 1 Doom of 7. And we draw a Skittering Nonsense. Which we're gonna have to kill. I'm not digging this to Kelly Lee stuff now. We just got, because our deck is so low. We're gonna have to kill this thing. Because we have to go down to... We're going to have to go down to Broad Snowdrifts. Oh, I can. I forgot about that. right. You are correct, JP. Because it's 1, 2. But see, then I have to take it. If I go, see, I'm thinking if I go to broad snowdrifts, they hunt down to crystalline caverns. They're still only 1, 2 hunts away from me. I'm thinking if they go to treacherous... If they go there... 2, 3... So if I'm here... Yeah, because then the easiest way to get me... Or if I go here... I go here, 1, 2, 3... 1, 2, 3. I know, Daniel. I'm going to try to avoid it as long as possible, though. Sorry, JP. What is the... Okay, so if I kill the skittering nonsense, move down to broad snowdrifts, they hunt down to crystalline caverns, I take it to Kelly Lee. Next turn, I go frozen shore, precarious ice sheet, icy wastes. Then they are 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3. So then I can send them down to broad snowdrifts. Right. Okay. No, I see the wisdom of your plan. Okay, well, let's kill the skittering nonsense first. We're going to take 2 to Kelly Lee's. Hopefully we have enough. It's really the sanity that's... Yeah. Next turn is 3. Move 3 times. Get into the barrier camp and then just investigate. Yeah, I can't remember what I have left. I've used both of my extra actions, though, and the pilfer, which I should have saved, but c'est la vie. Okay, killing the skittering nonsense. We will use the bullwhip. Attack uses, so we're going 6v2. Okay. What is that? -3, so we fail. Or we pass, sorry. We will exhaust the bullwhip to kill the skittering nonsense. And we get another one of these. I don't know how many are in my deck now, but too many. Okay, so that was our first action. Whoops. Keep doing that. Okay, so that was our first action. Second action, we move down to the snowdrifts. There's a Milan for sure. Milan would be good. Because he has sanity, right? Milan would be nice. Second action, we move there. Down to the broad snowdrifts. Third action. We don't really have a lot we can do. Did I take my lone wolf money? I don't think I did. Whoops. So we'll just take a resource. Okay. Enemy phase. Everybody comes down to the Crystal Caverns. Whoops, not that. You. Okay, and then because this guy's here, I take it to Kelly Lee. Again. I'm gonna have to draw one of these. That's, come on. All right, shuffled that. That was enemy phase, so upkeep. We draw a scout ahead. Look at that. Pretty sweet. My deck is like 90% to Kelly Lee's at this point. So we can triple move next turn. Take an action. 1, 2, 3. So we can get to the base camp or the barrier camp next turn. So that was upkeep. 2 of 7 doom. Draw an encounter card, which is 0 visibility. As an additional cost for you to leave a location with a treachery attached to it, you must spend an action. Oh, there is no thing attached. And I don't have to go to any locations with things attached. So we keep doing the plan. So we're going to get our money, get the bucks, play scout ahead to move 3 times. So as our first action, move 3 times. So we're going Frozen Shores, Precarious Ice Sheet, Icy Wastes. That was our first action. Second action, we move to Barrier Camp. Third action, I think we can exhaust field work to get +2 on our investigate. So we're going 5. Where am I getting the extra one from? All right, death. 5, 6, 7, 8 V4. Get a -1, so we pass. We get a clue. All right, we could trigger Jack's ability. I'm not doing that. I'm gonna try the will action last, because I'm gonna throw my hand to it. I'm gonna do it next turn if I have the time. I mean, I'd like the dynamite, but only if I have the time to do it, because it's a will test. The best I can do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 V4. I mean, it's possible. All right, so I'm not triggering Monterey's ability. At the end of your turn, test 2 agility. If you succeed, I discard 0 visibility. That is a -3. Yep. So this gets discarded. We go to the enemy phase. So they are 1, 2. Oh, yeah. I would have been better off if they had come. If I had stopped at Icy Wastes. Oh, right. I had field work. True. True, true, true. I feel as though I should have stopped at Icy Wastes there. Because that would have pulled them one more location down, and then I could have gone in and I would have had more time. But that's me miscounting. So they move here. Yeah, I screwed up. I got too aggressive. So I take another to Kelly Lee. Man, my deck's 90% to Kelly Lee now for sure. Well, 2 clues and resign, I guess, is what we're going to have to do. Yeah, no, I screwed up. I miscounted. I didn't follow my own strategy. I was going to go to Icy Wastes, wait till they come down, then move in. I could retcon it, but I'm going to go this way. I guess technically what I could do is grab these 2 clues and move away. And then move away again. Because the hiking boots can get me away. And then I can move in, evade the Terror of the Stars, and resign. Technically. I don't think that gets me anything but less to Kelly Lee's at this point. We go to upkeep. There we go. Take a damage. That's fine. That's something I can handle. Okay, so upkeep is fine. We go up here. 3 of 7 Doom. Draw an encounter card, which is the Dark Aurora. Ooh, I'm going to take 2 horror. This is bad news. This could kill me outright here, actually. Because if I reveal a frost token, I'll take a horror and probably fail the test and take 2 more horror and die. So I think I gotta pitch my hand to this. I mean, logical reasoning would save me. Oh. One, 2, 3, 4 puts me at 4. Skulls are -4 here too, yeah. The question is, I'm going to definitely pitch the Lucky Cigarette Case, the Watch This, the Faustian Bargain. That puts me at 4v3. I can go 6v3. Yeah, I gotta do it. All right, we're pitching everything. So much for the dynamite. We draw -1, so we pass. Okay. Terrible thing avoided. Now, I have to spend up to 3 resources. I would spend 1 resource. And I would have succeeded, so I would have gained 2 resources. That's fine. Okay, we dodged a bullet there. Now we need 2 clues and a resign. We're going 6v4. We got nothing else. 6v4. We need to do 6v4 twice. Number 1. Get a 0. Clue. 6v4 again. That is a fail. For each point you fail by, discard the top card of your deck. I failed by 1. So I get this one. Oh, and I just lost the game right there. Look at that. So that to Kelly Lee, if it is your turn, lose 1 action. Otherwise, lose 1 action during your next turn. Yep, that's game. Yep. Oh well. We came close. Yeah, that was my mistake. I made a big mistake there. If I had gone here, they would have come down here. There would be 3 clues. And I would have had an extra turn. So that was my fault. I misplayed there at the end. I had a strategy and then I just didn't follow it. Like, part of the problem, you know, playing online where you get distracted easily and forget to do things you should do. Not to blame the chat or anything, but you just get distracted with all the stuff you've got to do, and then you make a small mistake. So let's see the retcon here. So we would have gone here, right? So we would have drawn. We would have drawn the Dark Aurora, which we would have passed. Okay, I'm going to see something here. We're going into retroactive continuity here. So let's say I followed my plan, as I should have. I ended my last turn at the Icy Wastes. I passed the Aurora skill check during the Mythos phase, and this card is on the top of my deck. Okay. So, first action. So there would be 3 clues on here. Right? So first action, we would investigate. So I could have used field work. So I would have been going 5, 6, 7, 8 V4. For a clue. So I would have moved, I would have clued, and then I would have gone 6v4 and got a clue, which would have been my turn. These guys move back. I shuffle another Tekeli Lee card into my deck. We go to upkeep. I draw that Tekeli Lee, even though I shuffled my deck. So next turn I lose an action. So it kind of worked out to be, it's going to work out to be roughly the same. Whoops. Change that one. So I have one less action next turn. They moved. We go to Mythos. There'd be 4 of 7 Doom. Draw an encounter card, which was Ancient Evils. Just 5 of 7 Doom. I only have 2 actions remaining. So we're right back to that situation where I'm going 6v4 and then having to resign. I draw a 0, I get the clue, I resign. So, oh well. In a retroactive continuity, I would have, I may have won this one, but instead the Tekeli Lees get me in the end, which is unfortunate. The last 5 cards of my deck, 3 were weaknesses and 2 were cards that would have helped me. The pay your due weakness wouldn't have done anything. I just would have taken damage, which I already did. So what were the other Tekeli Lees? They might have killed me. Each was take a horror. So, oh well. So yeah, we oh, I'll probably play it again, Daniel, to get a better result. Starting off a campaign with a terrible defeat is not how I like to begin things. So I may end up playing it again just to see if I can actually beat it. You're hungover, but you're still here to watch Arkham Horror. So I would have had 2 Tekeli Lees in my deck. Or no, I shuffled one in, right? Yeah, I'm going to replay it. I mean, I don't like starting with a loss. It's, you know, there's no... Oh, read the resolution. All right, let's see. Sorry, I have to go to my phone here. Let's see what the resolution is. All right. If no resolution was reached, No amount of preparation could have made your journey through the ice and snow any easier. Your months of training before the expedition kicked in the moment you became stranded, and you were even able to scavenge some supplies while you searched for a safe place to rest for the night. But your thoughts keep returning to the sight of things that made your plane crash, the horrifying abominations that pursued you through the snowy wastes, and the sound, that awful sound, that cry. You almost wish you could have been robbed of your senses altogether to spare you from that cry that now haunts your every waking moment. As exhaustion settles in, you drift off to sleep. Still that sound echoes in your thoughts over and over again. Tekelili, Tekelili. Choose a location and play with no clues on it. In your campaign log, write camp next to it. So where would we have camped? We could have camped at the snowdrifts. I guess we could have camped in the icy wastes. It's shelter 4. Yeah, we would have camped in the icy wastes. We earn 4 XP. And then we go to the disappearance. And then we lose a whole bunch of characters. So basically, if you camp at the barrier camp, you're losing 1 more, right? Oh, they're MIA, so maybe you can rescue them. They're on their own, or you go after your missing team members. That's right, Calvin. You need to play Arkham. You're never going to finish Frosthaven. You have a better chance of finishing an Arkham campaign. Frosthaven will take you forever. Yeah, I see now. So you're going to lose somebody no matter what. But obviously the barrier camp is where you want to end. Had I not... Scenario 2 is rescuing the MI. Yeah, I assume that you'd get a chance to find them. I think in hindsight, so this was my first time playing Monterey Jack. So I think one of the things, Daniel pointed out the cool trick you can do with the bullwhip. So the Manifestation of Madness would have been dead a long time ago had I played that. I think in hindsight, I would have saved the money talks for the barrier camp will test, if at all possible, and I would have saved the pilfer. The pilfer basically wins you the game in this deck, which is saying something, right? You get to barrier camp, you pilfer, you resign, but not knowing, I wasted my pilfer to get 2 clues when I could have played it at barrier camp for 3 and won the game. So, but that, that comes with just knowing the scenario. But overall, I don't need to say Jack's a good investigator everywhere. Yeah, it is very rare to have 3 clues on a location, Daniel. So I thought I would be safe playing the pilfer there, but knowing how these things work, having played, I don't know, hundreds of scenarios at this point, you sort of know that if there is a location you are trying to get to, it probably has a ton of clues on it. And I guess the only weakness of this deck that I can see right now is just that it doesn't have a way to gather multiple clues other than pilfer. I believe that's the only card that gets you more than one clue at a time, if I'm not mistaken. So, you know, he's good at moving around. I mean, he's super awesome. Or I guess, no, that doesn't get you more. Yeah, so Pilfer is the only way to gain multiple crews. Yeah, that was the other card I was thinking of, Daniel. I think if I was to play this again, I'd take out the Swift Reflexes and put in an Intel Report. I kind of assumed that it already had one for a second, but I think Intel Report would definitely be a better card. I mean, Swift Reflexes is good. It gets you an extra action. But it's not like Jack's really hurting for actions with the hiking boots. Yeah, deduction level 2 would be good. Yeah, I think that's the only weakness that I can see at the moment, is just sort of the lack of clues. But like you said, Daniel, when you're playing solo, you don't really expect many locations. You don't really think there's going to be a lot of locations. Yeah, I had a lot of resources, so well connected would also be a good shout out. But now that I've played the first scenario blind, you know, I'll play it again, probably with this deck off camera, and see how I do. And I imagine if I don't beat it the second time around, I'll beat it, you know, the third time. Well, Calvin, if it makes you feel any better, I run a YouTube channel about the Arkham Horror LCG, and I'm 2 campaigns behind, so it's not, there's no shame in being behind. I just haven't really had the time to get to, and the thing is that one of the reasons I am behind is because I do want to play the scenarios blind on camera for people, and finding the time to do that has been a little challenging of late. So I'm glad that I finally got this one down. I do like the map is pretty big. None of the locations seem to come into play all that much. The shroud values were pretty low for the most part. I'm just thinking, like, if I was to play Amina against this, how she would do. The dowsing rod would certainly help her move around the map a little quicker. The shroud values tend to be low, which I like to see, because that means the scenario is open to a lot more investigators. Like the 4 at the barrier camp is pretty rough. 4 and 3 clues, that's going to be rough for quite a few investigators. But if you've got lots of ways to cheat clues, then you shouldn't have a problem. Have a good night, Calvin. Thanks for tuning in. But yeah, the locations, the treacheries. Let's take a look at at what the deck had. Did we go through? Oh, there were still 18 encounter cards, so we didn't see much of the deck. Yeah, I've heard Dark Matter is really, really good, and that is one of the reasons I am playing with... I've been sort of experimenting with TTS lately, because all of the fan maids are on TTS. I don't know how many of them are on Octagon. I think the Alice in Wonderland is on Octagon. Let's see. The Dark Aura, that's rough for that's pretty rough for Monterey. The polar vortex didn't really do much to us, except sort of forces you to move, which is annoying. The skittering nonsenses, ancient evils, I know what that does. The aerophobias are pretty rough too. But you can get away, like, you do have options. You're not necessarily taking the horror. The ice shaft, that's nothing. What's the just want to look at the encounter deck and see. Yeah, I can imagine JP. Yeah, there's some really quality fan-made scenarios out there, and I just, since I tend to play Octagon when I'm playing by myself and not on camera, simply because I'm more familiar with it and I can play a little faster. I didn't see Polar Mirage. Nearest location with a clue. Oh, that's mean. Dump your hand? I'm just reading this. I'm like, so you get a clue and you dump your hand? That sucks. Holy cow, that's mean. Okay, we know what we don't want to see. I mean, I guess... Man, oh man, that's rotten. What else? So there were two of those. Ancient Evils, Dark Aurora. We didn't see Whiteout. Attach to your location. Everybody gets -1. Discard Whiteout at the end of the turn. Yeah, I know, Daniel. That's Polar Mirage is terrible. Whiteout is like a temporary whippoorwills, which is fine for somebody like Monterey. Looks like there's a couple phantasms. We didn't see the Kindred Mist. Nearest location. When one or more cards have the ability to shuffle into your deck while you are attached to the location, draw them instead. Okay, so you attach to the nearest location. So when you would draw a Tekili Lee card, you draw it and then place it at the bottom of your deck so you get hit with it twice. That's kind of rotten. Yeah, discarding your hand as Patrice is definitely not an issue, is it? I don't think we saw Arctic Wind either. Attach to nearest location. Investigators cannot play cards or draw cards. Okay, that's annoying, but not. Okay, so Polar Mirage is definitely the worst. Like, that's just rotten. A lot of the, I mean, the agility stuff, Monterey doesn't care about that. The willpower stuff hurts because he's gonna take that on the chin unless he has a way of getting through it. So now that I know what I would need, so definitely not the dog guy. I guess Dire would be good for the sanity, but considering he could take 1 damage and he's done. Danforth has sanity. Then again, having to put the sanity, like, keep track of the sanity on these people from game to game. Hi Voland, welcome to the stream. We're just wrapping up here my blind playthrough of the first scenario from Edge of the Earth with Monterey Jack. Monterey got to Kelly lead right at the end. So he was forced to, and then he got jumped by 3 enemies, which killed him. So yeah, Senna's not. Yeah, so rolled Ellsworth is pretty good. If only for the polar mirages. Anyway. Well, it's getting late here. It's already almost midnight. So I am going to call it a day. I'd hope to put in a little more, try to get a few more games in, but Matastrophic and I are recording in the morning, so I need to get my beauty sleep. But thanks to everyone who tuned into the stream tonight. I greatly appreciate it. Greatly appreciate both you coming out and giving me a hand with my blind playthrough of Ice. Is it just Ice and Death? Yeah, I think we might have been able to beat this one, but I think the next time I play it, I'll definitely have a pretty good shot at beating this one. So I'm looking forward to continuing this campaign. I hope that everyone will join me for that. And once we're done this campaign, we've got Scarlet Keys to tackle as well. So I'm looking forward to playing that one. Oh yes, Ice and Death Part 1. There's 3 different parts, so I'll probably play this again offline, see how we do, and then we'll carry on with Parts 2 and 3. So thanks again, everyone. Like and subscribe and do all that jazz if you enjoy this type of content, and I will see you again. Probably not next week. I think next week my son has a lacrosse tournament in Calgary, so I will be away for that. And then, but maybe I'll fit in a stream sometime this week. We'll see. But thanks again, everyone, for tuning in, and take care of yourselves. Go out there and play some Arkham Horror.